super loud. Okay, we're just going live. I think, do we have every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, we have everybody.
Yay!
Cool. All right.
I was doing the same thing that
Gang's all here.
The gang is all here. I was gonna take a little break, but let's just do it. If everybody's ready to get into it, let's just get into it. So first off, thank you guys. We're live again, just so you know. But that's it. That's a wrap for Monsters and Madness. I do want to wrap up the lewdness conversation. So I think we probably should do the lewdness conversation with those who were left. But I still don't want to leave out others who wouldn't be a part of that conversation either. So before we get into that, before we do like any epilogues or what you guys think characters would have done like for the rest of their lives type stuff, I just want to do a quick campaign highlight. We usually do a highlight and like direction at the end of the session. There's no direction anymore, but I would love to hear like what your guys' highlights for the campaign were. For me, one that has always stood out in my mind, it's hard for the end not to have a ton, but early on in the campaign, I think for me as a DM, I've learned a lot through this campaign. And one of my favorite moments of learning what was really fun for players was the moment where Rufus became a werewolf right when he needed to, when he was like carrying Ekamos and like struggling to get through when we were going back and forth on the dinner with Uther Prent, and where some of that stuff had kicked off pretty early on. So that was like one of my big moments that I really liked. Let's go screen order. Let's just go screen order. Brandon, Varric, the interrogator. What about you, man?
Wow, that's a big question, you know. Like I was, as soon as we broke for that one, I grabbed my old notebook and was like kind of just going through it. And I was like, man, there's so many crazy like moments that happened. Like I'm just looking at this thing, thinking it's like, wow, this is like 3 years of notes.
Yeah. I think we're actually almost at like 3.5. We're almost at about 3.5 years. Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin, man. Because like for me, this is like I've always seen stuff, right? Like I watched Critical Role. I dabbled in it with Gellert when we were stationed in England together. But this is my first like true experience, like playing a campaign. So a lot of it has just been like learning and just like feeling more like free to like be the character and just like starting getting the mindset of like, okay, what would he actually do in these moments and try to encapsulate like who he is as a person. So that's been the dopest thing. And then obviously we've like kind of, I think you said it before, like we kind of caught lightning in a bottle with the group that we have. So yeah, there's so many moments I could go through, but I think the most important thing is just like learning how to play, like getting better at it, and then just who we got to be able to experience it with. Yeah,
and big character journeys too. I remember early on when you were talking about Varric, you were talking about almost like the Anakin Skywalker journey, like starting off really strong, but then moving to like, I'll do whatever it takes. And I think it's like, well, yeah, there was some murder early on. I'd call it murder in the cage at the with Chris early on. But I think Varric kind of turned into a hero role for sure. So that was really cool to see on that character journey too.
There was a funny moment with that. Like I remember us cutting to break just after I did that, and everyone was just kind of like looking at me like, "This dude is like he just messed everything up." And I remember running upstairs like during the break and just telling Jody like, I did it.
That's awesome.
But
go ahead.
I was gonna say just that moment in itself, how crazy you spun that into something with Zarn. And even though like I wasn't playing and we were just having like Discord conversations, like the buddy stuff when they were in Uther together, like where was it? Crackhammer. It's Crackhammer.
Yeah, it was Crackhammer.
It was crazy how you spun all that, and then when like I'm like seeing Zarm die, I'm like, oh man, I actually feel like terrible. like reading the note and everything.
Oh man, you know what? I kind of made that note hit hard for you guys. That I leaned into that on that one. But what I will say is, I don't know that I've told most of you guys. I know I think of at least told Kevin. Zarm was my player character in another campaign. It was an Exandrian campaign, and so any of the backstory of like his brother who died on a ship, and his other brother who he was really close with, how he became a time wizard, was all backstory for that character. And when we were doing this campaign, Kevin had a spot for a character from backstory, so I plugged Zarm in with a NPC, stat block, and had him go along with you guys from that. So that's some of those backstory things are actually from another campaign. I could even, it was a stream game too through Start Playing. I could probably even like link to those old episodes for like a Zarm prologue. But yeah, that was really cool to have Zarm as a part of the campaign with you guys, and just have that piece of one of my characters along as well. So thanks for playing along with that.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. Flynn, what about you, man? The dwarf who could not be moved and the trash robot. How about you for highlight of the campaign?
Highlight of the campaign, I really love how much the mushrooms came into play.
Oh my god, so many times.
And your music choice for the mushrooms was so perfect.
Wait, let's do it. Let's get one last one in here. Yes. When I put this song on the list, I never intended it for it to be that. But it just worked so well that first time that I had to keep bringing it up for the same feel, the same vibe of it.
Yeah, because I mean, since we met that goblin, I still have mushrooms in my inventory.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think that goblin ended up on the Alcantara. So for epilogue stuff, if you want mushrooms to be a thing moving forward, I guess.
More mushrooms.
The campaign, it's all story stuff now. So whatever you want to do with that is all yours to do on Mushroom Empire if you want.
Perfect.
Gellert, what about you, man?
Oh God, there's so many things that happened, from fucking mushrooms to getting turned into a mountain dwarf. That was one of the dumbest. Oh my God, I hated that. I hated it, but then I was like, wait a minute, this might be fun. Horrible. I want to go back to being an elf. And then from that, just RP in general, the roots. Don't forget about the roots, everyone.
Oh my God. Here's some shade there.
Never let you forget about the root reference. Guy. But oh my God, yeah, just kind of like Kendall said, this is the first time I've actually been in a true full-on campaign, and always had like a little bit of a taste of it from our previous experience. But being in a full campaign to experience how in-depth the role play can be, and with the story weaving and how your actions take effect, and then people coming up from the past and all this sort of stuff, that was by far the best part. And just seeing how everyone played out, how everyone developed over time, and all those interactions, that had to be my highlight for the campaign. Of course, I mean, the ending is the freshest in our minds, and that's I don't know if we're going to talk specifically on that, because I'm sure these guys want to know what went into that a little bit.
I'm sure we will too. Before we move on from that too, I just want to give a huge call out to you and Flynn both, just for like making the decision, trusting me, handing over Ash and Alivor's NPCs after everything that went down to kind of have here at the end. Thank you guys for doing that, for trusting me to do that, and just for making that decision for the story. And like, man, Gellert, you're sitting here with no character alive at the end of the game, but like, God, we had a great story. So really, just props to you guys for giving those characters for the sake of the story there.
Oh yeah, no, you played him perfectly the whole time that you were playing him, making him do his monologues, and that fucking flashback sequence of everyone's past. That was phenomenal. The whole time I was like, he is killing this. This is everything I wanted Alivor to be right here. So this is awesome. Just fucking
good. I'm glad you felt like I did it justice.
Yeah. And then I was telling the other guys, I was kind of bummed. I was like, damn, he didn't even kill one of these guys. I was rooting for Alivor the final battle the whole time. I was like, kill him, kill those motherfuckers.
Look, you guys are fucking good at combat, okay? That's the thing is, like, you're fucking good at combat. And there was, a lot of things going on to throw some damage out there, but especially with, like, I even had some things built in where if there was enough damage dealt, they were getting damage thrown back at you guys. So, but yeah, you guys are fucking good at what you do. So, yeah. Cool. Andres, how about you, man? Grim the Pirate. The latest entry of the campaign.
Man, there are so many things that I want to say, and I don't want to take up too much time because I could go on for days. But I think me coming into the campaign late, right? So much had already happened for everyone, and I just remember the day where like the seed was planted for me to join the campaign. We were at work, and I don't remember exactly the specifics of what was said or how it came about, but it had something to do with Critical. Maybe I was watching it or something, and it was like Bert, Brooks, Kendall, and me, and like the four of us did like the Spider-Man meme where we like all held up guns and we're like, wait, dude, are you a nerd? And I was like, yeah. And then that's how it just went, and it just skyrocketed from there. Where they were like, dude, we have a campaign going, like, and we actually do need another player. Are you down? And whatever. And then so I remember like being a little timid because I hadn't played in so long, but like even starting the character of Johnny Grimm as a pirate and like kind of doing that. And when we had conversed first, Josh, and you were like, okay, what are you thinking? And I was like, I want to be a pirate. This is like a breakdown of what I thought. La la la. Before I even knew who Flynn's character was, and you were like, this is gonna be really good. I think this is a really good idea. And I was like, okay, yeah, like let's do it. Yeah, this is what I got. And he's like, perfect. This is gonna be great. This is awesome. And I was like, okay. And the first story that I jumped into is meeting up with the group and everything. And it's like, by the way, as it starts to come out, like Breck was also a pirate and this was his ship. And I remember you had sent me a bunch of stuff about things that I knew from my time. And the Alcantara was like ship number 1 on the notes that I have. So when we had like, and it started to come out and the pieces were fit together, I was like, this is why he said being a pirate was a good idea. Okay, got it. And to be told, like, yeah, one of the characters hates pirates, like, hates them. I was like, oh, like, you can't script stuff like that. Like, that is crazy. But I came in and I was just like, I want to be a pirate. Yeah. But being able to flesh out the characters and seeing everybody else, like, the RP just kept getting better and better with each session. I thought was truly incredible. And there were genuine moments where I was like, man, like this is just a really good story. And the fact that we're all picking up of each other and like making decisions that maybe we wouldn't do as a person, but in character, you're like, I'm going to do this because like, this is probably what the character would do in this situation. And it kind of just like branches out from there is crazy. Roots will forever be the funniest thing that I think has ever happened in any campaign that I've ever played. And like when it was asked and then it was asked again, I was just like, man, so nice. We got asked twice. Where are the Roots? Like, was the funniest thing I have ever experienced. And I mean, there's a million times where I've literally laughed on stream, like on camera. And there's just too many to count in my head. But the RP has always been amazing. And I'm just so thankful that I was in the right place at the right time with the right people to come into this campaign and experience all of this. This has easily been the most beautiful campaign I've ever been a part of. So it was just amazing from top to bottom. I couldn't have asked for anything else.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, you guys have done. Yeah, you guys have been playing along with the story and guiding it through the whole time, and it's been absolutely great. So thank you. That really means a lot to hear that it was that enjoyable. And Grim absolutely was a great addition. I have loved the pirate soldier dynamics and all the ship stuff. It has been super fun. Obviously, we ended up right here on the Alcantara in the last song, and it's been a blast to play through some of those. So thank you for bringing the backstory to that, the pirate side to that. Josh, what about you?
Oh man, oh man. So yeah, I'm like in the same boat. I've never done any D&D, anything like that. Played a lot of video games, obviously, and Kendall had brought it up forever ago at work, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So he talked me into Bert into joining, and I think it was like your guys' 6th or 8th session or something like that. Like you guys had just started, but it had already been like 6 or 7 months, and it was awesome just joining up right away. Him and I had our backstory, and we kind of tied that in, so that was really cool. Yeah, it's really cool to just finally be a part of like a D&D campaign where it's expanded 3, almost 4 years. I even got my notebook here of the infamous questions that were brought up over a year ago. This was on the 2nd of June of 2024. And I literally
Seats. He gave her the seats.
I have it right there. It says never cast Speak to the Dead ever again. So I definitely wrote that down. And again, that was over a year ago. So yeah,
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just really cool that we've been playing this long, and like out of anything, like I've enjoyed the role play so much, just because like it at first it was really awkward because again I've never done this, so it's like kind of awkward, just like I'm playing myself, but I'm not playing myself. I'm a player, not the character. And then about I would say a quarter of the way through, like we were getting in the groove, and it just became like second nature, and like the stories getting thrown in left and right, and it become like emotional. It's like, bro, we're playing characters that aren't us, but yet we're so like emotionally invested with these characters. Is just amazing. And it's like one of those things like you won't really know until like you've either done it or you've seen it or something. But like we talk all the time, we bring it up to like our significant others, and they're just like, wow, crazy cool. It's like, you don't understand, so it's really cool to like do that. And like and then me have it explained to the wife, like, yeah, I've been kind of flirting with a play or an NPC character that's a female, that's a dude, and she's like, oh, what? So it's funny trying to explain that whole concept. It's hilarious. And then even like when we brought up the other campaign, Gearworks and God. You had played as a different character through a Critical Role, and then as another character, I was flirting with that character, and it'd be you again, and then Bree be like, stop flirting with my husband. So that was just so funny to do that.
She was in the campaign.
So that's cool. And then like being able to tie that short campaign into like this main campaign was so cool to just be like, oh, I'm a part of that story too. And like, it's just so cool. And we talk about it all the time. Like now with like the show getting big, like being able to like watch that show and be like, oh, I've been there, or I know who these characters are, is just so cool. It's just opened up a whole like different world to me, which is awesome. Like I can't put a highlight one particular, but just the whole culmination of the entire campaign has been amazing. And I love it.
Josh, I think you were probably the most vocal about like, combat's whatever, man. I just like the RP and story.
I know, like combat's cool. Yeah.
The wrap up, the highlight direction. You're like, whatever, man. The combat was whatever, but like, the story was great today.
I don't know. And what's cool too, like all of us mesh really well. Like a lot of us used to work together too, so being able to just like push all that to the side and then just role plays our characters and like mesh well is just like a good highlight for me would be when we were chasing my brother. And me and Andres just like role playing, like, oh, let's pretend like we're shopping. Like that whole little like bit was so fucking funny. Like how that whole thing played out just to like try to find my brother was so funny.
Cool. Kev, the man who brought us all together. This was all gotta give Kev credit here for starting it. How about you, buddy?
Kind of just a little bit of what Josh was talking about. Having that space to kind of explore the RP a lot more and kind of explore the same things as we're watching Critical Role and D20 and all these things climb up. We get to watch that and kind of bring it back to this space and explore some of that and create those moments that Josh was just talking about, how genuinely ad-libbed and funny they are. I feel like that picks up with practice and kind of getting in here and getting to explore that ad-lib and staying in character, which is kind of hard to do for me personally. It is. Another thing that was a real highlight for me personally is just really driving home how fun failure can be on rolls and dice. Like when you get the nat 1 and you're trying to strike true and stuff like that, and you get the nat 1, it's just like, fuck, man, that really sucks. But then like you look at it from another perspective and it's just a glorious story. And so that's just a beautiful thing to me. So like just driving that home here and kind of into other aspects of my life. I think as far as just a genuine highlight, it's got to be the tournament. as far as combat.
the
and that's
cousin
kinda,
Callists.
yeah, dude, that was tied in with the fact that Breck didn't get knocked off of the ledge by the golem. which
Yeah, at the
was
beginning.
the
Mhm.
unmovable dwarf that couldn't be knocked down, and the death and the grave thing. Like from the tournament, which was like the funnest gameplay, to that beautiful storyline was probably the highlight for me.
That's awesome.
Even over getting to play a dragon at the very end.
Yep.
I think that was the best part.
Very cool.
And yeah, man, thank you so much for just continually to do this and
course.
putting this together, facilitating all of this for us.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it, and thankful to you guys for going along with all the craziness and the kind of custom story here. Next thing I want to do is like some epilogue stuff, right? So we finished the campaign there. We got to the end and like, all right, let's go home. Milo flew off in the distance, and Gellert. You all your characters died.
The death of an entire family tree.
The death of an entire family tree. So like, I want you to like chime in on like maybe his influence on Bysaeus Till, or right, like tell me what Harry did too. We had Harry was an NPC who survived.
I have no idea with Harry.
I don't, but I feel bad here on this epilogue part because your character has died here too. So maybe just think about some Alivor stuff and like why you know, just some story stuff for you. But for other guys who still have living characters,
Yeah.
what's some of the stuff that you guys would have done at the end here of the campaign? And I guess for the rest of their lives for these characters, what would they have tried to do? And like, you know, absent of any future like you know, short one shots or two shots or little mini arcs or anything that we do, what would the general life be for your guys' characters? Without the binds of having dice decide it.
We going in any specific order?
No! Anybody chime in whenever.
All right. Well, I'm unmuted, so I'll go first.
Yeah, you
Since
go.
I don't have a character alive. Yeah, no, that was huge. I didn't plan on Starsim dying, but I knew once I turned on Barrick, I was like, I'm at the very least going down. But no, that was all of them were very hard decisions, and just of course everything that's happened to Alivor over time, being like we keep talking about, the group that we have is so awesome. Alivor being with this group particularly, and he's strong himself, but being around everyone who is pumping out damage like crazy, killing people left and right, like mollywopping people, and he's just like, yeah, I'm in the back, I'm here to support. That just played into his
that crossbow.
exactly, missing that crossbow shots, just playing into his constant need for more power. He kept feeling like he wasn't enough, like he couldn't contribute and wasn't able to, you know, stop what his original purpose was. It was the death of his mother and everything, and that just kept going and going and going. And I know I talked to, of course, you and Flynn whenever we had the sidebar conversation after they knocked me out of the thing, and I remember telling you guys that I either told you or texted you or something, but it was okay. He would have understood the whole them knocking him out of time because he knows what he did was drastic and not everyone would understand. But what really pushed him to the role of wanting to come after and no holds bar against the party was Grimm's final blow of trying to kill him. That was the moment that me sitting here as a character, I was like, okay, they knocked me back in time. That's all right. I'll get my second character ready to rock and roll, just play his dad, and then Grimm goes, I'm gonna kill him. And me as a player, I was like, this motherfucker. And that right there was instantly, I was like, okay, yeah, if Alivor makes it out, he's gonna do everything in his power to come after the group, because that was like the ultimate betrayal to him. Like, he would have been just fine if you just knocked him out, but the killing blow was what turned him. So that's how that ended up going that way. And no, yeah, I'd like to hope. You know, Alivor had a good name. I mean, he did in Bysaeus Till with everything going on, but who knows what these hooligans, what story they'll spin with him, if they'll do anything.
Yeah,
So,
publicly everything.
Yeah.
Publicly everything looks like Alivor died a hero, and his story was one that was very much could inspire the elves of Bysaeus Till. And
yeah, so
move them
yeah,
forward.
that would be nice. But like I said, these he's dead. These guys are alive. The history is told by the victor. So
Now, and there was really a moment for Alivor towards the end. There, it seemed like in his arc, there was Orthax was obviously so heavy, and Orthax was like a revenge demon, and so there was like some connection with other NPCs. But then there was almost this moment after the siege of Bysaeus Till, where Alivor did finally decide to just let it lie with Uther Prent and move on.
yeah,
And like, oh, that almost seemed like the moment where he was overcoming that and could get past it and was more settling into the hero role. But then that moment came again where it was a chance where it was Starstem who was going to be executed, and then there was another like opening for Orthax to say, well, hey, look, I could help with this. And Alivor did decide to go back to Orthax.
Yep, that was huge for him because, like you said, the whole scene with reviving the one elf, I forget what her name was, from the Ring of Three. She died, and then he was able to revive her, and seeing the image of his mother and everything.
Oh, Gwei Yatheros?
Yeah. When he revived her, seeing the image and everything, that's when he started to go down that more heroic path. But yeah, once he saw his father up on that, it just brought back everything and just completely tumbled the deck of cards. And once that ball started rolling, there was no stopping it.
Yeah, and then that kind of snowballed into the moment where the same decision was made of, well, if I've already turned to Orthax for this, I can turn to Nahal for this, and that's not that different.
Yeah, that was an easy decision. He said power. I was like, oh yeah, Alivor. Yep, of course. Yeah, no, it was bad.
Under the sand, beneath the Sphinx, it was tripping on mushrooms. There we go with the mushrooms.
Oh yeah, one of the best parts.
Playing such a part.
Oh my god. But yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to hear from the other characters if they try and keep Alivor's story heroic or not as time goes. What do you guys think? Who wants to chime in next for their character?
I guess the traitor will go. Man, that decision still haunts me to this day. Like, the thought process behind it was originally it was like, okay, let's hit the. It all played into how once we hit the anchor, everything that happened afterwards. Like, I thought it was going to be instantaneous. We hit it and we bamf and that's it. So in my head, in game, I was like, I'm not gonna have. This is the one chance I get, so I'm gonna say it. It's gonna knock it out. The spell hits, and Alivor's lost to time. I don't have time to do this. What really threw a wrinkle in everything was it taking time. I hit it, and then Varric hits Ash's stone or Ekamos' stone. So then he goes out. So now we're scrambling. In my head, I'm like, we've already gone past the point of no return with Alivor. So in my head, I was like, oh, it's done. Like, we've officially turned our backs, quote unquote, on him. He sees it. He's either going to destroy our anchors so we don't go, or he's going to attack somebody like Honor or Zarm or somebody. So in my head, as everything's going down, and I think Josh is like, you get one more thing. And at that point, like, the anchors have been put back. There's really nothing else I can do. I was like, I'm going to try and just hit him, and hopefully I land a crit. And if I land a crit, he's frightened. He can't do anything. He's got to go. So originally my plan was to just like I wanted to prevent it from getting a retaliation of anybody else. So on top of that, I was like, well, if I kill him, like, that's the whatever vessel that Nahal has used. Like, it is gone. There is no tether that can bring it back. But then, like, the last second Ekamos brought him back, I was like, there it is. We're fucked. Like, that's going to come back and bite me in the ass. Okay. So there were so many, like, decisions that were, like, I was going in my head. I'm like, I really don't want to do this. Because, one, we're so close to the end of the campaign. But story-wise and character-wise, I was like, I have to do it. And me as a person, I was like, I feel so bad. Like, I do not want to do this. But like going to the character, I was like, well, he is a pirate. Like, if he feels like his crew is in danger, and he's already like part of this pantheon with this matron, if this is like a direct conflict for that, and everything he's been told so far is, yeah, this guy is not good. Nahal is bad. Like, he is not like the Raven Queen, where it's kind of just like neutral. She's just there as a vessel to take you to the next part. Nahal is like legit, like, no, there's always like an ulterior motive. There's something evil, but he just so happens to be the matron of death in this world. So with all that, I think playing into the part of like, well, he's a pirate, his crew, like, we're literally on death's door here. I cannot take the chance of getting another like possible outcome, like another what's it called? Like, this thing is not a safe bet. Like, there's nothing good that can come out of this. So I'm just going to cut it at the source so it doesn't affect us whatsoever. Which it did. Like, it ended up coming back wholly. So that was Grimm's whole thought process behind it was, all right, this has gone far enough. Like, plan A didn't work. Plan B, just cut the root. Just kill it. And so that was it. But then everything played out the way it did, and then we got to it now. Would he, like, going in the future, would Grimm like try to change or like tell people what would happen? Probably not. I feel like at this point, as long as he doesn't come back, it's done. Then that was the whole point of him making the pact with the Raven Queen was, I cannot allow this to be in this world, so I will do what I need to do to make sure that this stays buried in the past one way or another. So, like, as long as that mission is done, he has no reason to talk ill about Alivor. Like, it is what it is. I think he holds way more resentment towards Zarm than he does Alivor. Like Zarm.
Okay.
There was a moment where, depending on what happened, like, I was going to try and kill Zarm, regardless.
Just either way.
Yeah, like, if the opportunity presented itself, I was going to kill him. But the spell got to him first before I could. And before I think I said during, like, the death between Zarm and Honor, I was like, I'll say goodbye to Honor. I wanted to try and talk to the Raven Queen to see if I can meet Zarm before he crosses over. And I wanted to just, like, be there and be like, I fucking told you I'd be here. I hope you don't get to where you get to go. Like, I hope everything that comes to you next is the worst place of your life. Like, I was ready to say some fucked up shit. I was ready to be like, I hope you hear the screams of your brother and of this. I hope they haunt you in this life and the afterlife and everything past that. Like, I was ready to go all in on the hate train for Zarm. So, like, I think the only thing going forward would be, he would definitely ask Breck, and he would talk to Nora about taking over Darktoe and taking over the guild, like infiltrating the guild and taking over Darktoe, since it's already been infiltrated by the guild. So he would ask Breck and he would ask Nora, like, let's take it over. Like, let's do it. Like, let's just cut it at the source and let's rebuild it or destroy it. So there's no Darktoe anymore. Like, straight up pirate land. Like, there's no Tortuga anymore, like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, there is no safe haven for pirates. Your safe haven is your ship, and that's it, and who you decide to bring onto your safe haven. Like, that's it. But we're destroying the hierarchy within the pirate world, and that would be what Grimm would decide to do. And then after that, in doing so, cutting out the guild completely. So go after Malachi and go after Lysander, both, and like all of them. And Stover is still out there, so he would literally like one by
Stover,
one.
that's right. Yep.
Yeah, he would go on a hit list and just start going. But it starts at Darktoe, like destroying Darktoe, because that's how they're getting everything. And then kind of going from there. What's interesting is I think Lysander was looking for the Eyes of Bukutoa as well at some point. So now that he's released, that unravels like a whole thing as well. But yeah, like going what it looks like for Grimm, it's taking over Darktoe and destroying it, taking over the guild, and then kind of just going from there, like living out whatever life is next after that.
Okay.
And feeling bad about
How would
Alvor.
Breck feel about that, about the pirate? And I guess I would also ask, because he's got family involved too, maybe what Varric would think about that too.
Yeah, so Breck, I was gonna say Dark Toes is where I'm headed. Varric's dad's on my hit list, so
You see, you can't write this stuff, dude. That's crazy.
but I did want to make a stop in Visayas Till because I think that Starstem deserves and Alivor deserves to have gravestones next to his mom.
As always, my fucking hero. My man. I love it. Perfect.
And then
I
he would
agree
do
with
it until he'd mourn his death the second time. And then
Oh.
head to Dark.
Bro, that was one of the coldest lines of the campaign right there.
Yeah, Flynn, while we're on you, man, even just in the last couple episodes, but he's our friend was heavy. Gosh, you just drop some cold lines sometimes, man, and always a good addition to the campaign. Besides going to Darktoe, anything else for Breck? How would Breck, what's Breck's life look like? What's he got going on afterwards?
Well, I guess, man, with Grim taking over the last song, first thing he would do is ask Nora Loom if she would like to accompany him on his ship. And
The answer after the campaign and epilogue is yes, she would. If he'd asked, then yes, she would.
And then, man, yeah, sailing to Darktoe, obviously going after Varric's dad. I know that Milo kind of ran off with the war pick, but that's still very much on Breck's mind is destroying that. That has to be destroyed. So after the Darktoe situation, he'd probably dedicate himself to destroying the war pick.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess potentially trying to contact Milo to see where the pick is, if that's part of that journey.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How accessible would Milo be as
Very
a
actually to
dragon?
the Breck and one other. One of the things that you might find if you looked through your captain's quarters desk is a letter with a similar earring to the ones that Milo has, but set inside of it is a small sending stone. A similar one was also sent to Emmeline and is residing in her desk.
Okay.
Just when you need me.
Yeah, man,
Dude,
I'd
the
pop that
Captain
in the air and
America
wear it.
cell phone? That's crazy.
I wouldn't reach out until after the Darktoe situation was dealt with.
So at that point, would there be a potential? Milo be open at that point if Breck was reaching out? Hey, the war pick needs to be destroyed. What would you guys do?
Milo immediately after just taking off, after kind of accepting the role and really, like once you take on that great power, you get the great responsibility sort of thing going on. So like he's like, I got to figure this out. He is a young kid, like he's still probably between the years 17, 20 years old, something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
He didn't know what the fuck's really going on inside, chemically imbalanced. So he's off to figure that out a little bit. And as he's doing so, he's flying towards where I'm thinking that there's a resonance or a hum of where Alivor killed his dad. So he's going to go find the bones of his father and anything that might be within that cavern, and that's probably going to end up being Milo's lair. And so he'll operate out of that. But his next objective after that is to gather up as many arms of betrayers so that no other gods can impede upon what is now his realm.
Yeah.
And what is under his protection. So as soon as you called, I guess Milo would ask how you felt about hunting down some arms of betrayers.
That sounds like fun.
Should sail off into the boat together.
Nice. Hell yeah. I think Crystal Fen. just to kind of play out some of that. It was Crystal Fen where the father was killed. It was Crystal Fen where you ran into even his ancestor, and more importantly, though, the bottom of Crystal Fen where the barrier between worlds is thin, and where the Guardian of Exandria would be needed the most to fight off some of those breaches. However, in breaks between that, a team up of Milo and Breck going for Arms of the Betrayers sounds pretty fucking cool to me. Yeah, that's awesome. What about the Cleric or the Paladin? What about Varric or Ekmos? What about you guys?
I think just after it, his primary thing would be to check on his sister. It sounds like most people are leaving Hope's Bastion. So I think he would go back and kind of maybe just unwind and hang out there for a while. Probably just work at the blacksmith with Bone for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just help the town be what it's supposed to be and just be a part of it. Because I feel like we started it, but we never really like lived a life there. Any kind of like there was no like normalcy or whatever. Like spend some time there, and then he has the duty to his people, and he would head back to the Pallid Grove, and he has a seed that needs to be planted.
Oh yeah.
To hopefully help them bounce back and give a new life to everyone back there. And I think that's where he would probably reside and just be kind of the protector of the Grove.
Yeah. That new seed would absolutely grow too. And I think Hope's Bastion right afterwards. I think people would be leaving who were there to fight, but it's not like people were pushed away who were there before either. And it does still, I think, represent, at least to the people around the area, represent a bastion, a place where people stood against the things that were happening. And so having you there for a time helps with that. And then I would say the growth of the tree to be as big as the ones in the past would be longer than an elf's lifespan. But you can absolutely see that through as a guardian for as long as you decided to as a paladin elf. And however you wanted to help guide the elves from there. Man, you can cast a wide net given how much that was a part of Varric's story and how much he really made an effort to do that. So if you even wanted to say the Pallid Elves went one way or the other, that's cool too.
Yeah, I think going back to his vision with was the Moonweaver, right? Where everyone had their vision of like their future or what it could potentially be. Yep. So and kind of in line with that, I don't think he would ever pursue a position of power or like ruling. But he would be there to guide them and train and whatnot so that they could protect themselves for whatever might come. I think he's very much in the mindset of letting other people, like a newer generation, kind of determine where they go and what they become.
Yeah. Would there be any attempt to reach out to other elves in Wildmount? Maybe not even the rest of Exandria, but the Uthadurn and the Bysaeus Till elves. Particularly, obviously, the Bysaeus Till elves.
Yes. I think he would still maintain contact with the Ring of Three and kind of see what kind of happens with the Empire itself.
Yeah.
I think a lot hangs on the balance of like what goes on there, and because obviously we have some individuals that were trying to take power there. So,
and also on that note, I think all the lore that happened in our game matches with the main canon of Critical Role 2. So I think anything that happens with the Dwendalian Empire in the main campaigns fits with our story for how it would end as well, or continue on with those things as well. So feel free to fill in with headcanon that way for any of the Critical Role stories. I think we made it that through without that happening at all. Trent's still alive.
Yeah.
That's a thing. But otherwise, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so he just keep in touch, see if there was ever an opportunity to restore some of that former glory and some independence. Yeah.
Cool. Josh, how about you? The Family Man. By the end of it started the zombie, ended the Family Man.
Yeah, I just turned into a real simpleton, you know. To probably stay at Bastion's watch. He'd have that conversation with Morgana to see if, like, hey, I know you're a pirate lady and whatnot, but obviously we're starting a family. So did you want to settle? Kind of see how that played out, obviously, and then honestly, he didn't really have. He had his home in Amon, but after the whole Crimson Catalyst, whatnot, he would probably not want to be there. He had the soul of his brother with him too, so he'd probably just open up his own apothecary at Hope's Bastion and make it a big ordeal. He'd probably like ornate the apothecary with his brother's gems, so he could actually like don off his necklace, his pendant, and like hang it up there. That way, like just bless it and whatnot. Just super apothecary potions / healing stuff, and then just work there at Hope's Bastion and raise up his family, teach the kiddos basic alchemy stuff, and
so we had Varric staying in Hope's Bastion for a little bit. Would Breck have stayed in Hope's Bastion at all? Or he would have, it sounded like kind of being on the water and was his vibe.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, and then same for Grim, kind of, he's a guy who lives on the ocean, he's the captain's last song.
I think for Grimm's story, there's so many things that were left unfinished, so I don't think he'd have time to be a Bastion watch. I feel like if he was allowed, he'd have like a, how do I say this? Like, hopefully, like every now and then, like a safe space to go back to when he needed it. Like Bastion, like Hope's Bastion was that. Like he never had that. But living there, like probably not for more than maybe like a couple days at a time. See old faces, and I think he would definitely go back if Morgana's there for sure. Like,
well, and that's what I was getting at, is because Morgana, for as part of her backstory as an NPC, used to be a noble. She was a former noble who gave up money, gave up the life of living in high society, and decided to be a pirate anyways. But in the absence of leadership after Bastion's Watch was early leadership and kind of big changes in the Empire at the time in the Zimni Fields, I would say that Emmeline and Morgana both would come up as people who were early leaders and would take on some of the roles that were left behind, like Pithmaster or potentially even Strosta for one of them. And if there's not the rest of Bastion's Watch around, then I would absolutely say Morgana, unless you would prefer to not and persuade her out to the country instead with Ekamos, would probably try and take on some of that political life too.
I think in his head, like after she almost died on the ship, like the dangers are always there, being like a pirate and stuff. But I think it changes now that Ekamos and her have like they're about to have a kid, and like that's not just like a fling anymore. That's
I was gonna say Ekamos has the choice of that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I well, from Grimm's perspective, like seeing Morgana as that sister, I think he would easily persuade Ekamos, like making sure to reiterate she's got the power of free will. If she really wanted to stay on the ship or whatever, like Grimm wouldn't say no, but I think at that point he would get with Ekamos and be like, I want her to be happy, but I also don't want her to die, because that's
sure.
And now there's a kid and everything, so I think if Morgana stays in Hope's Bastion or wherever she goes, that's most likely where Grimm would frequent every now and then, like a relative who comes in to visit, like making sure that he doesn't lose that contact pretty much.
Josh, what would Ekamos and the family do for their days?
Oh.
that Grim would tag along on sometimes.
Yeah, I'd probably like task the kiddos like to, hey, take Uncle Johnny with you and go like pull herbs or something, and then I did stuff for the apothecary. And then like if Morgana wanted to go that route of being like a politician for Hope Sebastian, then yeah, for sure. Or I would let her do that, and then I would just run the apothecary, and we'd just be like that middle class family, I guess, of her being like high status and me just turning herbs and healing people. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be pretty funny to like, oh, Uncle Johnny's in town, and then have the kids go with him. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I'd definitely let that for sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
We got to keep him busy.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a asshole to ask, but what kind of roots would you sell at the apothecary?
Definitely not the roots that I asked twice about. That's for sure. That's definitely not on the menu of items that we have.
Stuff you guys sell there. Got it.
I feel like Grim would literally like have the kids purposely get those roots and bring them to Ekimos. Like, take these to your dad. He loves them.
Take them and throw them out. Don't. Uncle Johnny tells you to do that stuff. You tell him no.
That's great. Gellert, for you, what about Visayas Till? What about the city itself? You were heavily involved with the Ring of Three. What do you think the trajectory would be there?
Definitely working with Varric and reestablishing the elves as a power within, whether that be within the Empire. I'm not too caught up with Critical Role and everything, so I'm not sure how the Empire goes, but really working with Varric to reestablish the elves, trying to get them back to the former glory, to what people think of whenever they think of how the ancient elves were, high power, elegant, even if it means not of course having to go to battle and everything, but trying to be the wonderful Sweden of the of the fantasy world,
Yes.
But yeah, just trying to rebuild them and work with Varric and the Pallid Elves and just reunite all elves.
I think over time, I mean, it's safe for us to say it's the end of the campaign. Great, we can make our own. It doesn't have to match Critical Role's canon too. Our story is our own story. So I think, that definitely be something. I would almost say, I would ask Ekimos, would there be any kind of talks with you and Morgana of trying to help broker getting Visayas Till out of the Empire? Would Ekimos even try and get involved with that at all? Or would he just say, no, you guys go ahead?
Yeah, like him being like from the slums and whatnot, he would want nothing to do with like politics and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But if she wanted that, if that was her goal to like get that going, yeah, he would be totally like passive in that aspect. Just, hey, I want to live a simple life. I've seen crazy shit in my lifetime, 2 lifetimes now, being, like a ghoul he was into like the guy he is now, like he would just be honestly like, I didn't want to say like a ranch hand simpleton, like a goat farm or something, but like apothecary-esque, and just, help establish Bastion's Hope's Bastion and let her do what she needed to do with that. Yeah.
Now, what if Morgana came to Varric, Grim, Ekimos, and Breck and said, we could really help Visayas Till gain independence if all of you together as Bastion's Watch stood together and kind of stood as those heroes again? Would you come together for that? Milo too, even. Milo has the option. He's in Crystalfen a lot of the times, but it would be even more impactful if Milo was involved, especially given his half-elf lineage.
I think Varric would definitely take part if that's what his people wanted to do.
I think if it was Ekimos and Morgana asking, it would, like, he would be hard pressed to say no. Like, there's a part of him that's like, I really want to kill the guild, but if it's like Morgana and Ekimos asking, he's like, okay, like I could put this aside to do whatever it is you need me to do.
I don't think I would.
Okay.
I feel like it would be like a 10,000 foot, make sure nothing gets out of hand. and ensure as much quality as possible.
Is that how Breck would do it too, or Breck just kind of wouldn't be there at all?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know if Breck would even really respond. Yeah, no, yeah. It's that's up to you guys. You guys got that handled.
Would
I feel,
Breck?
I feel if Milo's mom calls, like he's gonna say yeah, like he's gonna show up somewhere. But
That's true. That's true. She is pretty heavy up, pretty high up in the Order of the Black Rose, which did push for elvish sovereignty in Wildmount generally. Would Breck have reached out to anybody? Would there be any reason for Breck to reach out to anybody besides Milo for the arms of the betrayer hunting? Would Ekamos, Varric, or Grim hear from Breck at all?
No. I think he would just he would kind of go on this hunt with Milo.
Yeah. Okay. The Alcantara. Any desire to expand to other ships? The Admiral Breck.
Actually, if Breck's nephew was old enough, he would like him to be on the ship being trained, and then he would give it to him. As it belongs to him.
Okay. Very nice. Maybe a future player character for somebody. Very cool. Well, I think Hope's Bastion would continue to grow. I think the story of Bastion's Watch and how they defended it and defended the area and defended Wildmount and Exandria, even though the behind the scenes were messy, that the story would have been heroic enough that it would inspire heroics in others. And over time, Hope's Bastion would grow, and heroes and adventurers would grow out of the area. And that would then, in turn, create more villages and make the other Erosa and Pride's Call and the Nimblefoot Druids even. There would be talks of bringing them into the Empire finally, or if they wanted to still do their own thing. But it would kind of raise the Zemni Fields as a place to be in the Empire, besides just Rexentrum or Zadash or some of the bigger areas. Hope's Bastion would be a place that people wanted to go to and would continue to grow over the years and the decades, and places that you all started and visited would continue to grow themselves and become staples in that place. Anything else? Any questions or anything else that anybody wanted to wrap up for their characters before we kind of sunset them for the last time?
I do feel like, I didn't mention her, but I do feel like Vasati would be a big part of Hope's Bastion. I don't think she would go
NPC
back.
stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, as much as she kind of like made a connection with her people, I think she had her place and her calling.
And do you think she would have stayed as a Dawnfather paladin, or do you think she would have made a switch to the Moonweaver ever in her life?
I think she would stick with the Dawnfather.
Yeah. I mean, she found safety in your guys' kind of tumultuous life in the Empire and in the Dawnfather. That would make sense. She also had the divine intervention from the Dawnfather directly. Man, I'd have to throw that out as a highlight moment for me, was getting that to be like, okay, all right, well, I don't have to kill the players and think of a way to make that make sense. Let's just get you guys out of here. I think Vasati was probably the NPC who fought with you guys the most.
Yeah, probably just her and Harry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Zarm was around a few times too. Honor as well, but they not as much, I think, as Vasati, especially with her being up in the Zemnian, the Age of Arcanum chunk of city up there. Yeah. Anybody else have any NPCs? You guys can fill out some NPC epilogue stuff too if you have anybody that you really
something
felt
I was
passionate
thinking
about.
was the conversation with lewdness
Yeah.
that Breck wanted to have is mainly because he's worried that with Zarm being the one who assassinated the prince, that this would start a war with the Kryn dynasty.
Uh-huh.
So he would let lewdness know that he was the one responsible for that before he
That-
sailed off.
That Breck was.
Yes.
Interesting. Lewdness would ask you a lot about Alivor. Even with your, like, hearing your confession and what you said when you did, he would kind of want to know more. I want to change the vibe. Hey, if there's other things happening, we gotta change the vibe here, man.
Well, what did you want to know? Alivor is a hero. He died a hero.
I met a version of him that was very angry at the gods. He told me some very interesting things. Methods of the past that might be employed today.
Yeah, last I saw Alivor, they were messing around with Time Stone.
Huh. And do you have any more information about this time stone even then?
Yeah, I think it's tucked away, hidden by a dragon.
I see. Well, I appreciate your confessions about your transgressions against the Dwindles. I have many things to attend to currently. And politically speaking, going after a hero who just saved the world isn't really a good look. So why don't you get yourself a head start, and I'll be seeing you later. If my research allows me the time.
Seems fair.
And if you do ever have any information about your friend Alivor, or the ability to manipulate time, then perhaps those transgressions can be forgiven. Perhaps there's much more generosity behind those answers.
On his way out, he would just say, I think the name Nahal might mean something to you. And he would just continue on.
Thank you, Captain Deep Delver.
Thank you for the head start.
Dig it. And I guess, man, Ludinus is in Campaign 3, so if you guys want to see how that plays out, go watch some Critical Role.
And then, yeah, he would just make it a point to avoid coming back here.
Okay. So you guys really would never see Brick. And that means no attempt to continue to be a Righteous Brand member either, then.
Yep.
Just pirate work?
Making Johnny Grimm the King of Darktow would be, I guess, priority number one. Obviously, Varric's dad is involved in that, so that's kind of where he's headed first.
Right. So not trying to be a pirate specifically, but fighting pirates and putting a pirate on a pirate throne. It's not pirate work, as Nora would probably explain to you.
It's not pirate work.
This is the title of Breck's epilogue there. It's not pirate work. Very nice. What would Grimm's directions to the pirates be if he took over at Darktow?
Man. Honestly, I think the idea of being like king of the pirates is kind of crazy. It's kind of like 50-50 of like kind of destroying the hierarchy. And like there is no king. Like if you're a captain of a ship, then that's where you rule. and you can have like other ships or whatnot, like kind of how you said, like being in like in that instance. But I guess if it got down to it, if he did become like some sort of king, yeah, actually no, like he would just want to take down the hierarchy and then kind of pop smoke. Like he wouldn't want to rule. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of being
You
a
got
pirate.
a smoke grenade in the epilogue too, man.
No, like he wouldn't be a king.
Yeah.
He just wants to like take down the status quo within Darktow because it's already been like infiltrated. It's already been like taken over by somebody who's already bad, by somebody else who's really, really bad, by like this eon old guild at this point. So taking down the hierarchy, like taking down the status quo and watching it crumble, and he just like, okay, my work here is done. Like whether somebody else picks up the pieces or not, like he just wanted to make sure he cut that loose thread out. And now that I think about it, with more of his backstory, after taking care of all that, he'd probably go to the Kryn Empire to know more about null magic and all of that stuff. Like he'd go sail all the way out there and see what that world has. Like that's a whole new other territory he hasn't explored yet. So more stuff to find, more information and knowledge to gain and whatnot, and hopefully fill in the blanks of how his magic works now and kind of go from there. But
You guys are seeding the lore for future campaigns now, just so you know, by the way.
I think that would probably be like the last big hoorah for him in probably that part of the world, like the last big mission, like especially with Breck and like Loom and all that, like Nora and all them, like, hey, let's just fucking destroy Darktow and let's go kill Varric's dad. He's an asshole and I hate him. And one last
Sign
big
me
pirate,
up.
yeah, like literally, it's just like not trying to take anything. Like I don't want to rule Darktow. It's more so like, no, it's cancerous. Let's just kill it, and then we'll go on our merry way and see what happens. But I think he would stick with the crew that he has, and every now and then, like if paths cross and stuff, for sure, like do that. But that's pretty much it. Like we would just go to the Kryn Empire and that's it. Like see what happens after that. And I think the last big thread would be like what the Raven Queen has in store for him after everything he said on the ship. Like in that big fight, he pretty much said like, hey, I'm yours, like whatever you need. So if the Raven Queen needs a specific task or something, like he essentially said, I'll be the Reaper for the Raven Queen. So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Who ended up with the bracelets that Alvor had?
I did.
Yeah, I would say that it's perfect that you picked the dynasty. I would say that, you know, Graham would kind of realize over time that there was a connection between those bracelets and the Luxon beacons, and thus the Chronos shard itself. And those are all pretty tied together without going into specific threads to leave those open for future things. Milo wasn't technically the king of dragons, but he's one of the strongest around on Exandria after all of this. Any dragon priorities of keeping those guys in mind?
Not really on the dragon side of it, but like the demon hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like I got a lot of work going on in that.
Mhm.
So when I get time off from that, we search for the arms of betrayers, and
Mhm.
I can see Milo like just every once in a while taking a casual walk through Hope's Bastion. And
Okay.
maybe getting like walking in as a different person or something like that to all the different spots and into Breck's old bar and stuff like that and get a drink or something like that. Just
I think Emmeline would be Starosta for a long time in Hope's Bastion.
Emmeline, through the little contact thing, would probably be Milo's best bet to set up a network
Okay.
and probably stimulate growth within the Cobalt Soul.
Uh-huh.
And try to build
I
that up
like it.
for information's sake,
Yes.
stuff like
Yes,
that.
yes,
So
yes.
start doing that.
One of the only people alive who would have had direct experience with Ioun in any time in their life. Very cool. Very cool. Any threads? Anything else anybody has?
I would definitely release Beelzebub and
Yeah,
let him tag along with Johnny. Yeah, I would be like, hey, dude, you're free. Just stay with Johnny. Do whatever you need to do.
Supposed to
Stay
be
with
Keep me to the house! Don't leave me!
Yep. I would pass on the annoyance of Beelzebub to Johnny. Be like, hey, your last order, you have to stay with him.
Fine.
Keep contact.
Just not in the house. That's fine.
Yep. None of
And
that.
he would stick to Grim like annoying glue.
I would make him into a monkey, then he'd have his own little monkey impact. Yeah, for sure.
Like a pirate monkey.
That is so good. Like,
Yeah.
what a way to end it. Let's go to the Kree Empire with
Yep.
Beelzebub.
I gotta check in because we have one more player character we haven't checked in with. How about Squall and Commodore Norrington?
I was about to bring it up when he started talking about Beelzebub. I was like, oh my god, Norrington.
Yes.
I think Squall and Nori, I would want them to kind of be the characters who just kind of like go on adventures, like the very silly adventures that like probably like towards the end of their lives, like there's some book out there that just has all the crazy things that they've done. All the different tales. They probably people from like all over, like different cities and across different continents have had some sort of experience and know the journeys and tales of Squall and Nori.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's where I would want
That's
them
great.
to be.
And a couple others. Nori was getting some other group members too going along.
Oh yeah.
I love that. Maybe in the downtime between campaigns, they'll have to put something together for some stories and encounters that had happened with those guys. But great job coming up with that. Commodore Norrington was so fun to play and a really fun light addition to what was sometimes a dark campaign. But you know, gosh, heavy ending there. Yeah, before we sign off, anything else? Anything else you guys got? I left it open for us to do whatever, but that's the story of Bastion's Watch, unless anybody has anything else.
I'm
There-
curious, Josh, is there like anything that really threw you for a loop as far as like maybe things that we said or decisions that we made where you're like, oh, what the fuck are these guys thinking? Like, at least apart from like the last, like,
That
couple of
threw me for a loop. The goblin murder threw me for a loop. Just like, oh man, all right, they're gonna, you know, Varric in this case, but they're gonna do some stuff to make things happen here. And it was kind of like, oh shit, I got to come up with like some kind of reaction to that. And a thread that kind of got introduced but never followed was that doorway.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Varric
I was
kept
looking-
seeing.
I saw that in my notes.
Yeah, so what I had built out there is that doorway was something from the Feywild that only showed up for people who had recently murdered somebody, and in the Zemni, like in this specific region of the Zemni Fields. And I had this whole backstory written where there was like an Illithid who that was the giant octopus who had been there, had been transformed, and then it was also in there with another Fey creature. And their whole idea was like inviting people in to dinner and then like keeping them and basically just feeding off their life essence. They were trapped there in this little like pocket of the Feywild that they had created themselves to run from the Hag Mother, the big one in the shack. But yeah, there's a whole thing with all of that was that was showing up because Varric had essentially murdered somebody, killed them without them being able to defend themselves or anything like that. But nobody ever Varric, you went in once. They tried to knock you out. You if I remember correctly, you failed to save, but you were immune to magic sleep.
Someone brought it up. I think Flynn. I think somebody was like, "Hey, are you immune to sleep or something?"
Yeah.
Yeah, elves are immune to
That's
magical
fine.
sleep.
Yeah.
And so that really that saved Varric. Varric had fallen asleep right there. Great, then hey, let's roll you up another character. But that did not happen. Because that was an encounter that was I had it set for another path for you guys. Like that was a group encounter, and Varric had kind of just wandered off on his own that night. And so yeah, that was that kind of thread there with that. So I think that one was one that I kind of had to adapt some stuff to fit what had happened there. Throwing for a loop, man. Some of Alivor's illusions. I think some of Alivor's illusions. I think he ran in. This was before you were there, Grim, but or for you, Andres. But this was the very first boss fight where you guys were trying to stop the ritual, he just walked in as one of the people, and it was like while the rest of the party was still coming up, it was like, all right, well, shit.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like, because everybody's like, no, we need to rest. And I was like, fuck yeah, if they rest, that ritual is going off, and they're coming into a different fucking thing. And then, like, we got a whole different campaign that actually happened. But Geller, as Alivor, you walked in and we're just like, no, we're going to stop this. And that gave time for everybody to come in and stop the
Yeah,
whole
wasn't
ritual.
that one where I ended up killing the sacrifice?
Shadow, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they had to kill him with the
Shadow.
special.
Alivor on the, like, do what you got to do kind of train.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And there was the command too to drop the weapon. And
Oh, yeah.
I got all set up, and you had done that. And then I started describing as if your spell had failed. And I remember you guys were kind of like, "Hey, didn't he succeed on that?" I was like, "Oh fuck! All right, yeah, let me go back. That's right. The ritual doesn't happen. You're in there fighting them. Here we go." And then there was the illusion in the cave, getting the war pick. Getting that Dragonborn to think he was picking up the war pick so that you guys could just fucking dip out of there
Okie doke.
was pretty key too. Yeah. So
that's
some of
when we
those
ran
threw me
into
a loop as well.
Johnny, yeah. I think
Yeah.
that was the first episode. You were like, "What's
Yeah.
going on, guys? We're running this way." Okay.
Yeah. So it was good. It was always good. You guys always kept me on my toes. That's for sure.
Sweet.
All right.
So much fun. When's the next one?
We'll talk about that off stream. But on stream, in terms of wrap up, thank you guys very much for going through the story with me. I said it 9 times today. I'll say 10 more. It has been great to have this going on through all the things that are going on in life. And it's always been a big anchor for me. So thank you guys very much for being a part of the story. It really means a lot. And there will be a next one. Not super quick coming up, but there will be a next one. And we'll figure out if it's going to be in this world years down the line so we can see the impact of what you guys did here, or if it's going to be in another one. But I'm excited for those stories too. And I think no matter where they end up being, they will be great. So thank you guys for telling the story of Bastion's Watchers with me. I really appreciate it and look forward to the next one.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Josh.
Oh yeah.
All right. That's it, guys. Nothing left to do but log off.
All right, guys.
See you for the next one.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.